Right, so this stream will just be about the weekly outlook for this week, and also discussion of identifying trend reversals during a macro bullish condition. So last Friday, most of us in Pro Alerts switched to longs from a few short scalps, and the main reason for that was shared in watch lists beforehand, and it's mainly just an expectation before of sweeping 59,000 being front run, and the confirmation being an SMT divergence between Bitcoin and Ethereum. So what that means is a divergence of the lows between correlated assets. So Bitcoin and Ethereum move in the same direction generally. So when they diverge, it's a sign of a bullish divergence. So for instance, one asset making a lower low whilst the other asset making a higher low. Right, so you can see here, Ethereum made a higher low on the Friday 19th April, which confirmed the SMT divergence, and that was the trigger for long positions, whereas Bitcoin here made a lower low. Okay, so that's the divergence, and when there's such a divergence, these sort of key levels here can actually be front run. So the liquidity zone at 59,000, and also the monthly and weekly fair value gap. Right, so in terms of what to look for in trend reversals, usually you don't want to long during the downtrend. You want to long when it's starting to reverse, so somewhere like here. So how do we actually anticipate that and not get trapped in one of those fake bounces that end up round tripping and going further down? The key to that is using higher time frame analysis. So just starting on the weekly and monthly time frame. Right, so on the weekly, this weekly fair value gap, and also present on the monthly, right? And then moving down to the daily chart, we have this low here and the two equal lows here as well. So previously that was the key level to watch, and we remained patient until the price moved towards this low. And then once it was near this low, we either wait for the sweep and buyback of the zone, or a confirmation of something else, right? So in this case here, we got the SMT divergence, which is giving a bottom signal, indicating that this level will be front run, leaving behind all of the traders who have their limit order set here and are waiting for this sweep of this level. Right, so pretty much the logic is at this sort of price point, everyone had the same expectations of 59,000. So the market sort of tries to front run that and begin the reversal before that, so leaving behind all of those sort of traders waiting for that level. So in terms of the weekly outlook for this week, right, so I do believe the market has formed the bottom. Reason being the SMT divergence, as said before, and also confirmation in terms of market structure and order flow. Right, so longing during here would be counter trend because the trend is down and you're going opposite. Whereas here we're sort of seeing a sign of a trend reversal. And the first sign of a trend reversal is price making a higher high and higher low. That's basically analyzing market structure. Right, that's one really simple way to go about it. Another way of going about it is identifying order flow. So whether bearish fair value gaps and order blocks are being respected or disrespected. So for example here, we have this 4-hour bearish fair value gap just being cut through like nothing. So that's the first indication of bullish order flow. Compare that to previous price action, right, where price was not able to close above and break above any of these 4-hour fair value gaps. So that's method number 2 in terms of identifying reversals, right, using order flow analysis. And then my favorite way is just identifying if any order blocks have been left behind by a liquidity sweep. So here we have Bitcoin sweeping these equal lows with this wick candle, and this is a down close candle, as in a red candle. And we know that down close candles form order blocks, right? So by sweeping this liquidity and then seeing strong buyback, this is a sign of an order block being created. It's a sign of institutional interest and a sign of big, like sort of stacked orders being left here, and we expect price to retrace to this level, hold it as support, and give a strong reaction. Right, so sweep of lows and then forming a bullish order block with the down close candle that swept out the sell side liquidity. So that's one of my favorite sort of entry models in terms of identifying trend reversals. Okay, and you can kind of see how this bullish order flow is continuing as well, because we have bullish fair value gaps holding well as support, right? And of course this main order block being respected as well and giving a very strong reaction. So in terms of where price is currently at, it's actually at the previous 4-hour fair value gap, which previously acted as resistance. So this is kind of like a sort of first hurdle before price can reach higher and potentially break above 71,000. So today's New York session will be quite important and indicative for the rest of the week. So if price is able to continue to show strength and close above this level, 67,000, then we can probably continue upwards for the rest of the week. Alternatively, we can reject from this resistance zone and form a Tuesday low of the week before continuation. But in my opinion, all scenarios point towards a bullish week. Right, and with Bitcoin clearly showing strength, all coins will definitely follow. Let's have a look at the dominance chart. So last week I discussed how dominance broke out of its previous range, but I expect this to be a range deviation, as in a false breakout. So I still expect this to play out over this week and the coming weeks, which suggests that altcoins will be very strong and outperforming Bitcoin. We can also look at Ethereum and Bitcoin pair. So last week I discussed how there's still key levels below. So it's possible that Ethereum compared to Bitcoin has still not bottomed out and can actually go a bit lower. But at this point it should be very close to the bottom. And in the near future, we can expect Ethereum to vastly outperform Bitcoin. And same can be said for most altcoins. So I'd say the play for this week and the coming weeks is to identify outperformers, find good long setups on altcoins, and try to hold them for swing positions. Right, I'll just go through another example of identifying sort of trend reversals, and a really good example here is on Solana from earlier this year in January. Right, so Solana previously in December saw a very strong rally from 72 to all the way to 130, and after that saw its rejection and a protracted downtrend all the way down to 83. So how do we actually anticipate that it has formed a bottom? So again, it's using higher time frame key levels. So on the daily chart, we have this daily fair value gap right here. So usually these are the levels to watch, and for extra confidence, it's good to see if there's any equal lows. So we have liquidity right here and the parent support level, and then we have the daily fair value gap right here. So what you want to see is price reach into this key level aggressively, right, with this very strong down close candles, And what this serves to do is sort of scare out all of these traders and induce them to short or close out their long positions before enacting the buyback and reversal. So pretty much what you want to see is strong move down and then strong move back up, right? Because the most expansive moves in the market actually move extremely quickly and leaves everyone behind. Okay, so this is a good example here on Solana back in January. And you can see this was indeed a very strong trend reversal all the way up to new highs. Okay, and another example here as well. In December and January, right, equal lows in confluence with a higher time frame key level, violent move downwards and strong buyback immediately, right, to induce shorts and leave traders behind. So hopefully that makes sense. So I'm happy now to move on to weekly outlook and just analyze some altcoins and any other coins you guys may be interested in. So just a quick update on the positions I'm currently holding from last Friday. AVAX is looking very good. Do expect it to move straight to the final take profit target. And it had the same setup as Bitcoin, right? Sweep of lows, down close candle, swept the lows and formed the bullish order block, holding as support. And then we have this 4-hour fair value gap acting as temporary resistance, but should still see some further upside. Rune is comparative strength setup, so just letting it play out, giving it some time, but still looking quite good as well because it's making higher lows and higher highs. Let's get into chart requests. Firstly, looking at REQ. Yep, so right away on the 4-hour, it's looking very promising because it's breaking above these highs, and in a way you can even sort of see a sort of ascending triangle formation on it. So pretty much what you want to see is price either continue upwards or very shallow pullback and continuation. In that case, it would be a good range breakout and we can see higher prices, and definitely leaning bullish on this coin here due to the sweep of the lows and change of trend and order flow. Right, so bullish order flow here due to order block and fair value gaps being respected well as support levels. And in terms of upside targets, it should be quite obvious. We have these equal highs here at 0.174. Right, so pretty much just see if price can continue up and sustain its current local breakout. So in terms of the upside target for Solana, right, it's actually at its current local highs. So if you're holding a long from a bit further down, then you can consider trimming the position slightly. But otherwise, longer term, it can go all the way to 210, which is the previous range highs. And in a way, it's kind of like a sort of deviation setup as well, because it was previously in a trading range, and if it can reclaim above 162, then it's back in its previous range, and it can go all the way back up to the range highs. So I'll check out Link, Pendle, and Fellow. I do believe we have open positions for these running in the alert channels. So for once, Link actually seems to be performing quite well relative to other altcoins. So that's good to see. However, it is facing some pretty strong resistance right here. The blue box from 16.03 to 17. So we can expect a sort of pullback before continuation. Definitely bullish order flow currently, and also bullish market structure. So if you're in a long position, it's fine to continue to hold the position and set your stop loss at entry point. But pretty much price just needs to clear this blue box, then it can sort of see a very strong expansion all the way back up to its previous range highs at around 20. Alright, so basically I want to see a reclaim of this level. Currently retracing, so yeah, you don't want to see any candle closures below 14.52 for now. I believe Pendle was a position called by Peter, and I think he did close the position already. So his setup was a sort of power of 3 deviation setup. So range lows, deviation of range lows, reclaim of range lows, and expansion upwards to deviate above the range highs. So pretty much you can expect something similar here. So something like this. Definitely think it has room to continue further up. But of course it's also responsible to take some profits, because these sort of coins can round trip quite quickly as well. But yeah, pretty simple expectations for Pendle right now. Yep, so Velo, if you're looking too long, is probably going to retrace pretty far, and you can just look at its recent price action history as well in terms of how it treats like large pumps. And you can see here last time it retraced the whole thing. So if it were to do the same thing again, it would just be something like this. Right, so yeah, definitely wouldn't open new long positions here, just due to like how it looks pretty topped out and the potential for a very steep retrace on this. Moving on to Dogecoin and then FTM. So Dogecoin doesn't look as strong as other altcoins, and also 420 Doge Day has passed as well, so the narrative is done. But still, it's showing pretty good market structure and bullish order flow. So even though it's not performing as well as other altcoins, it will eventually move upwards if Bitcoin can remain bullish for the rest of the week as well. So you can see I have this level marked out here. So this is the breaker block, which previously gave a rejection, affirming it as a resistance level. So once the price reaches close to 0.169, you can probably expect a rejection and retracement, in which case you might want to trim your position if you're holding a long. If it can break above and sustain above, that is a bullish reclaim. and that signals continuation. So looking at FTM, last week I indicated the importance of the reclaim of 0.7175, which is previous lows. So this has been reclaimed quite convincingly. So yeah, it looks pretty good for now. So for continuation, it's pretty simple. You don't really want to see price close below 0.7175. So for the short term, it's kind of retracing. It's performing okay, but not the best compared to some other altcoins. So what it can do is retrace back to the 4-hour fair value gap here, and also sweep the previous day low at the same time. That'll be a good reversal area. So yeah, it's good. It will be a good idea to set an alert here in case price does retrace to this level. But we also have a 4-hour fair value gap right here as well. So I can see why Moistinobi would be long this here. Overall, it's a pretty solid setup. It might just take some time to play out. So just checking his alert. His entry is 0.7607. So yeah, that's a pretty good entry point. So yeah, it can definitely just bounce right here and continue upwards. Like there's some support for that, for this current price level as well. Stop loss at 0.745. Let's see. Yeah, so it kind of depends if you're using large margin or not. So if you're scalping and using large margin, then that stop loss is reasonable, because you don't want to see price really go below 0.75. If it does go below 0.75, it can go all the way back to this blue box here. So yeah, it depends on how long you want to hold this position. If it's a swing position, then maybe a better stop loss would be 0.714, right? Or just basically this previous range low is being lost, so 0.7175. So I'll look at some meme coins as well. Yeah, so last week I drew this arrow on Bonk, and it's basically just talking about the reclaim of this level and overcoming the H4 fair value gap resistance. And you can see here that price has reclaimed above this level and successfully retested it, so it's looking very bullish. So pretty straightforward analysis in my opinion. And upside targets would just be this. So firstly, break above this trend line, which it is attempting to do right now, and the previous highs. Wait, that is Pepe coin I just looked at. Okay, I'll look at Bonk. So yeah, that's a pretty brutal retrace. Down 74% from the highs in March So bonk is pretty straightforward as well. It probably needs to cool off a little bit. Alright, so ideally something like this. So retrace back into daily fair value gap, sweep of previous day lows, and then another push after this cooling off retrace, and attempt to reclaim above 0.021. If it does successfully reclaim that, then we can expect continuation and a test of the previous highs back in March. In terms of whether it has bottomed out, it probably has, which is also the case for most coins on the market right now, since everything does follow Bitcoin. So dog with hat has been quite popular to trade here recently, so let's have a look at that as well. So I had this level marked out because this is the daily breaker block, and I believe there were some shorts sent out by our members over the weekend from this level, and that's pretty much the idea, because it's a previous low and the price has rejected this previous swing low and affirmed it as a resistance low. So what can happen here is price consolidates for a while, and then it can attempt to break above this bearish breaker block. Alright, but keep in mind that analysis for these sort of coins don't always play out, because the price action can be quite erratic. So I wouldn't personally short this, but I would watch for a long entry point if it goes back down to the range lows. The upside potential is quite good on this, but also take note of the volatility, because this coin does move quite a few percentage points. So low leverage would be a good idea on this. Let's do a quick check of bonk on lower time frames. Just a query in chat regarding a long position. Yeah, so on lower time frames, it's pretty much the same thing as well. Right, it can maybe bounce from this sort of order block here, but still it looks like a sort of slightly deeper retrace to come. Right, so we looked through some meme coins. I looked through Pepe just before, if you've missed it. Okay, awesome. In terms of red folder news, nothing really substantial in my opinion. So for crypto, the main ones to watch out for are CPI, FOMC, and non-farm payroll. Other than that, other sort of news events don't really affect the price that much. But we do have some news on Tuesday before market open. 15 minutes after market open. It can bring some volatility, but probably won't affect the market too much. Is there anything else you guys want me to check? So we looked at a few of these. So we went through some meme coins, the large caps, AVAX, Solana, and Link. Sure, let's look at total 3. So market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So with these sort of indexes, I find that sort of precise analysis on it doesn't really play out too often, but it's quite useful for identifying the current trend. And you can kind of see that it's exhibiting bullish order flow just due to how bullish order blocks and fair value gaps are being respected as support. And it now has reached this H4 fair value gap resistance. So it's actually a pretty similar outlook to Bitcoin here. So it can either retrace a bit, move back up, or just continue up and reclaim that level. I haven't really looked at DXY too much. It's due to like how it's not too correlated with crypto nowadays. But DXY itself is actually looking quite strong. So DXY is the dollar index, and generally we expect it to have an inverse correlation to Bitcoin and crypto. But you can see that past few days both have been going up, so it's not a sort of strict correlation. But yeah, this itself is also showing bullish order flow. This daily fair value gap is being respected, so I think, like, to keep it simple, at a minimum it can go to 107.35. Okay, let's have a look at how the session open is going. It's a bit volatile. Yep, so definitely with long positions that are currently open, make sure that you have trimmed some profits on it and the stop loss has been trailed upwards, because anything can happen in crypto, and New York sessions lately has been notorious for selling off due to grayscale Bitcoin ETF outflows. So you can see right from open, we're sort of seeing a sell-off. So it's too early to tell if that will be indicated for the rest of the week, but yeah, we'll probably see by the end of today and tomorrow. But keep in mind that price going down on Monday and Tuesday is not necessarily bearish for the rest of the week, because price movements downwards on Mondays and Tuesdays often serve as a way of shaking out long positions before reversing the price and pushing higher for the rest of the week. So that's why you sort of hear people talking about early week lows in the chat. Alright, cool. Is there anything else you guys wanted to check. So if any of you missed the sort of discussion at the start of the stream regarding identifying trend reversals and basically market bottoms during macro bullish conditions, I will be looking to release a short video this week, so going through it in detail. So if you missed that, you can watch that video as well, or you can watch this live stream recording once it's uploaded. So I think I'll pretty much call it here for today. So yeah, outlook has been provided, and pretty much we just react to what the New York session is doing today and tomorrow, and plan accordingly for the rest of the week. But pretty much the bias is definitely bullish for the short to medium term. So yeah, hope you guys have a nice rest of the week. Safe trading, and thanks again for tuning in to this live stream. I will be streaming every week on Monday, 30 minutes before New York Open, and I do hope to see you all again next week. Alright, take care.